All right, so here's a bit of a Bitcoin update that I wanted to do. Not much has really changed. Like I kept on saying that we might get some pops, which we did. That's here, but we're still respecting this trend line. We still haven't broken out of the trend line. This was a breakout. Again, this is a Bitcoin daily chart. Each candle represents 1 day's worth of action. So here, back in June, I think everyone thought we were making a higher high. It looked like we were, but we never really passed this section here. That's what I was looking for a higher high. So, reason why I keep saying I want a higher high, especially on the daily time frame, is because daily time frame moves are bigger moves. A higher high really indicates to me that we're getting out of a downtrend. So, we still have yet on a daily time frame to put in a higher high. I mean, you can see right here if you draw a line straight where these daily closes are. Um, you're just seeing like the $40,000 level. This is just a ton of resistance right here. We can't really seem to break out of it. If we do, we'll go to 45K. However, we're still unable to break it. Also, too, the longer we trend, the longer that this trend line, and now this trend line is coming from our recent highs. So we had a high, a low, a higher, a higher low. We eventually topped out right here. Bitcoin was 61,277. We dropped. We made a low. See how this low is lower than this low? And this high is lower than this high? We're starting a downtrend. And we're still in this downtrend. Sometimes these patterns will revert back to the macro trend line, and that's what I kind of have here. So kind of get rid of this guy. This guy was the neckline of the head and shoulders pattern. No longer really exists for us at this point in time. So this is that macro trend line. The longer we go, the longer that this trend line could wait to break out. I mean, there's a couple, again, my theory that I have is that Bitcoin might want to put in a lower low or a nice low here on the MACD. So this is still in play. I'm not saying it's happening, but it's definitely still in play. So we're still looking to see what Bitcoin's going to do. I still got this upper trend line. Nothing really has changed. Just remember that. All the recent price action and our altcoins starting to pop off. Nothing has changed in Bitcoin. Bitcoin runs this entire market. So we're still looking for this $30,000 level to hold. We're right now seem to be holding on about 33K. Seems this resistance level seems to be, this support level seems to be holding. You can see this doji right here, this doji candle is acting like a lot, like we were having issues breaking it. We got above, and now we're holding above. So we're really this 33-ish level seems to be holding. So the key thing is Bitcoin's still trending. We're looking for this to hold. If this breaks, I'm telling you, we're going down. Let's pull up a Bitcoin. Let's put it on the weekly time frame. With the weekly pattern, I want to kind of bring something to your attention. So let's look at the MACD on the weekly. Right now, we have a ton of selling pressure on the weekly time frame. The sellers are in control. I know it's starting to turn white as if like buyers are coming back in. We still have a ton. Now this here was when that capitulation occurred in around COVID. We still didn't get a ton of selling pressure. This is a weak sell. This is a strong selling pressure. So that's why I still leave it in the cards that this thing could still trend downwards. We're not out of the woods yet. I think everyone's getting giddy, like Bitcoin's going to turn around and look and be worth $100,000. I want that to happen. And you know what? Bitcoin always does what everyone least expected. But you got to kind of look at the charts and kind of get very realistic with it. I mean, look at the MACD up here on the weekly. How would you not sell this? We've never been this high. That's how much. How would you not sell? Anywho, so I want to pay attention to this cross right here. So this cross, and remember this cross. So this was a buy cross. This was a buy cross. Even this MACD got only as low as about 900. The MACD is currently sitting about 164 on the weekly. So 164 puts us right about this cross right here where the COVID cross occurred. So let's kind of go through our price action. That first cross is when Bitcoin plummeted from all-time highs and retraced on down. That retrace was about an 83% retrace. So which is possible. Bitcoin does that. All-time highs shoots down 80%. That's what Bitcoin does. However, this weekly cross occurred, and we got a run-up. Now we got our next weekly cross. Are we getting our next run-up? However, this weekly cross, remember, occurred on a MACD that was at about 950. Could this MACD drop further? This is where I'm going with it. Could this MACD continue to drop? Still leave us some room to drop. That would coincide with what I'm talking about on the daily time frame of that MACD hitting here. This is where I have a possibility. So just keep that in mind as you're trading your altcoin positions, that altcoins could fall off a cliff. So I want to show you here. Here's ALGO. Now, we thought that ALGO was originally in an ascending triangle pattern. I'm now showing that ALGO is in what's called a rising wedge. So this is a rising wedge pattern. This is a bearish pattern. Rising wedge is bearish. They typically 68% of the time break to the downside, but when they do break to the upside, rising wedges go parabolic. We're on a 4-hour time frame here with ALGO. This is our 200 SMA, and as you can see, ALGO pumped its way up, retraced, not as hard, pumped its way up, tried to break through, and now is retraced. So what we're trying to see is, does this pattern continue and break up or break down? Understand if this pattern does break out, you're currently holding ALGO, time to get out of ALGO, because when these break very, very hard. If these happen to break up, great time to do what's called a breakout trade. I mean, you're waiting for a breakout of this pattern, right, of this trend line, and it shoots up. But just remember that you're always changing your mind frame. I think I originally posted this as a ascending triangle. As time has gone on, I'm realizing that it could be a rising wedge. But it looks like our moving averages are starting to curve higher. Starting to look for a 21 to cross the 200, and then maybe a golden cross to occur. So keep your eyes on ALGO, and this is what I'm talking about as like this conversation can only last a day. The market could change tomorrow. The market could change while we sleep. However, when these gains come, you have to take it. Let's look at KCS. This is the one that we hit for a huge run-up. You gotta find these. These are gonna help you trend the water when Bitcoin's doing absolutely nothing. How do we know to hit this? You have a huge macro downtrend that was broken. And what I mean by that is KCS hit all-time highs, and you could see this trend line drawn. And then KCS broke out of that trend line. Then it broke over the 200. Your breakout traders bought right here. Some might have started buying here, where we entered a little bit again, just because you were forming a higher low. So you had a low, a higher low, then a higher low. You had a higher high. So remember I was talking about reversals? This is what I'm talking about. You have a low, and you have a high. And you got a higher low than this low. You got a higher high than this high right here. This is what we're starting to form a uptrend. And then our moving averages started curling up. We had a breakout of the macro trend line. Then we broke out and we had right here on the 200 SMA. And then we shot up. So this is what you're looking for. This is what you want to be patient for. You want to find this. This is what you want to find. You don't want to be hopping into trades where you think they're going to pop up and they don't pop up. You're piecing all this together. You may have entered a decent position here. You may have entered a position here. And then you may have entered a position here. And then we rode this up and we doubled our money in the span of about, let's say, July 3rd to, July 7th. 4 days, you doubled your money. So this is where we talk about breakout trading. You want to break out from the pattern. You want to buy the breakout. And that's what you're trying to land.